Hey, it's Ray, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we're going to be watching Miyazaki Was Right. And of course, if you guys have no idea who Miyazaki is, we're talking about Hayao Miyazaki from, or the creator of Studio Ghibli. You know what I mean? The one and the only, of course. So if you guys are into that, you guys are down for that, get you a drink, get you a snack. I got like a little cinnamon roll today. And let's get right into it.
草で絡まってる家なんて全然違うでしょ。もう草が絡まってるじゃん。この屋根からね、その右の屋根から隣の屋根に飛び移って駆け抜けて、その緑色の壁があるでしょ。緑と青っぽい、そのところに飛びついて、あの配管をよじ登ってですね、あの屋根の上を走ってさらに向こうのビルに行くっていうのをアニメーションでやったら面白いでしょ。それで電線の上歩けたら向こう側にも行けるはずなんですよ。もう上から見ると本当に
Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember this scene too. I've seen a lot of like behind the scenes clips specifically of Kiki's delivery service, and they use rotoscoping, which is basically an effect that you use to you record like real life pretty much, and then you draw over it like every single frame. They did this same method within this movie called The Scanner Darkly, and if you haven't seen that movie and you are an animation student, you need to watch that shit because that right there, that whole movie is exactly what this little scene is here, basically. Like, check it out.
むき出しにいろんなものが見えるんですよ。あのブロック塀の上を走り抜けることできるはずなんですよ。
That's so
そうやった
cool.
だけでね、つまんない街だと思ってるとかとんでもない映画の舞台になるんですよ。
It's so whimsical too. Like, golly, it's so whimsical. I love his style. I love how fluid everything
やってみると
is.
結構面白いでしょ。
It's so good.
面白いんですよ。向こうはるか向こうまで行けそうな気がするよね。行けんじゃないかな。
Shit.
Anime was a mistake is a quote falsely attributed to legendary Studio Ghibli director Hayao Miyazaki.
Also, thank you for falsely attributed. Yeah, well, thank you for addressing this. Holy
Which
shit.
makes the rounds whenever he releases a new film. While Miyazaki never actually said those exact words, the quote is often associated with him for comedic effect. Because, well, the guy makes anime.
Mm-hmm.
The truth behind this contradictory statement, though, is more complicated. While Miyazaki doesn't think anime is a mistake, he is disappointed in the industry, saying in an interview that almost all Japanese animation is produced with hardly any basis taken from observing real people.
That part, and then on top of that, it's gotten so manufactured over the years, like plot lines. You got character designs being reused to some degree. I think there was like this little controversy with one studio. I want to say it's like the same studio that maybe created like sorta online. They like stated that they were kind of going through some same face syndrome type stuff with the characters in their studio. And honestly, I would say that if we were to stop being so reliant on fan service and were to focus more on being story driven, then maybe anime would get better. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't get me wrong, anime is good. Anime is good right now. However, I feel like that there's so much anime nowadays in 2025 to where it's so hard to differentiate the difference between the good anime and the bad anime and stuff like that. You have to filter out like a lot of trash in order to get to the good stuff. And even then, you also have to go back in time and even like search out really, really good anime because there was even bad anime back then too that we don't know about because it was bad. But
It's produced by humans who can't stand looking at other humans. That's why the industry is full of otaku.
facts.
Which, taken at a surface level, makes sense, right? Anime isn't based in reality. That's the whole appeal of the genre. And of course, the industry would be filled with people who are passionate about anime, which, for better or worse, tends to overlap with the otaku demographic. So, what was Miyazaki actually trying to say? Well, in the context of the interview he was in, he was talking specifically about how women are drawn in anime, but the quote also applies in a more general sense to how most animes are written today, as
That is very, very true. And Miyazaki, y'all already know, if y'all know his work, he treats his female characters with respect, and he's very, very good at writing female characters. And you could just tell that he takes a lot of time and care into his work to make them human. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just hot, you know? And I feel like that is also like one of the things that anime is missing. Like, you can have attractive women in anime. You could totally have attractive women in anime. But also, let's have attractive women and ugly women in anime with depth. You know what I mean? I would like my female characters to have depth. You feel me? You get me? You understand me? You feel me? Okay, cool. Now that you get it, cool. Thank you.
opposed to how Miyazaki writes his stories.
俺映画の奴隷になってんだから、もう自分が好きなようにやってんじゃないんだよ。この映画はこうしなきゃいけないっていう宿命を背負ってるんですよ。
For anyone who's seen a Miyazaki film, it's pretty apparent that his stories are set in fantasy, but the actual characters are grounded in reality. Although his stories are about gods, spirits, and talking pigs, Miyazaki never fails to capture the subtleties of
Oh my
real
god, your
life
cat is
through
so
his
cute.
characters. Chihiro is fearful but resilient. Howl is charming but erratic. Porco is fearless but self-loathing.
I don't know what movie this is from, but I'm gonna have to check it out. I'll figure it
Perhaps
out.
the character that best
Somebody in the
represents
comments let me know.
Miyazaki's craft, though,
Oh no, wait,
isn't
never
one of
mind, never
his
mind.
main characters,
I
but
might know
rather
what that is.
a prominent side character in Lady Eboshi. I remember watching Princess Mononoke as a kid and hating Eboshi's guts because she massacred the cool looking talking animals.
Hmm.
But rewatching it as an adult, I was conflicted as to whether or not to view her as a bad person. After all, she caused irreparable harm to the forest and its inhabitants in order to further her mining operations. But at the same
True.
time, she's an emancipator of women and a provider of shelter and acceptance to the terminally ill. Whether or not we choose to side with Eboshi depends on how we, as individuals, have grown to view.
It is a very, very complicated story too. I might have to check this out. You know, it's really funny. This is the one movie from Miyazaki that I haven't seen yet. I'm probably gonna go get dragged in the comments for that, but hey, it is what it is. I will check it out at some point when I have the chance to sit down and actually like get back into like anime movies and anime in general. But yeah, that's usually the conflict type of storytelling that Miyazaki likes to use in damn near all of his movies. Like, he gives his characters depth and gives his characters challenges and gives his characters like an actual goal, you know what I mean, to achieve. And I don't know, I feel like in some anime, not all, that those are the elements of storytelling specifically that are missing, which is, oh shoot, not even just in anime. Honestly, it's the same thing with American like live action movies and stuff like that nowadays. It's more or less like a political glorification between both the red and the blue nowadays versus actually telling a story, actually presenting characters with depth, actually giving us something to learn from. You know what I mean? Like, and instead of trying to hammer an agenda into our brains, whether it's red or blue. You know what I'm saying? Because both sides do that shit. They suck the fun. They literally sucking the fun out of it by hyper politicizing everything, and it kind of sucks in America now. However, when it comes to anime in particular, I kind of got off topic. The elements that are really missing, is again depth. You know what I mean? Trying not to be too reliant on like the fan service and everything like that. Making sure that like plot holes that y'all mention within the series actually get tied. Like eventually, they eventually got to get tied, something like that. Try not to pull some like rent a girlfriend type bullshit when you're just while you're just hypersexualizing the female characters but not really giving them any depth. Like I said, you could have hot characters and you could have ugly characters, but the most important thing to make a character is whether you give them depth or not. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, Laura Croft to a lot of people is very very attractive. What makes her attractive other than just her beauty? It's her wit. It's her ability to be a badass. It's the fact that she knows she's hot, but like doesn't really give a fuck. Well, I mean, she kind of does give a fuck, but not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like she's just this overall badass. You know, same thing with Bayonetta. You know what I mean? Why do people like Bayonetta? Yeah, she's attractive, but again, she's witty. She knows how to fight. She's a badass. She is extremely confident. You know what I mean? Like though that is the type of thing that a lot of women and a lot of men want to see in media again, specifically when it comes to female characters. You don't have to make them bland, ugly, and hyper politicized. You really don't. You can do so much more than just that in both American media and in anime. Just saying. But
The
anywho,
world and the role of humanity within it. It's a difficult choice to make because more often than not, life isn't black and white. There's no clear-cut hero or villain. Moral ambiguity is the norm. This is a reality that Miyazaki seeks to convey through his films. There are layers to his stories that give them a quality often lacking in today's anime.
or
Nuance. Speaking of today's anime, what is the current state of the industry? Well, production value and output have grown exponentially from 10 or
right,
even 5 years ago. But I
right.
can't be the only one to feel that for some reason, originality has diminished. While there are still unique and compelling series that come out every year, it seems like studios are choosing more and more to go down the path of the recyclable, one-dimensional shonen or isekai. And while
That
the best
part.
of these can be pretty damn enjoyable, there is little that prompts viewers to pause and think about their real lives. Instead, these shows offer the opposite, an escape from the day-to-day. Perhaps this is why Miyazaki is so disappointed. Almost all Japanese animation is produced with hardly any basis taken from observing real people. There are definitely
Exactly.
exceptions.
Real people, real experiences, real life to some degree. And I'm not saying again you have to hyper politicize everything in order to make that statement. However, I think what Miyazaki means by that is because like, you have to think about it. Like this guy, he's been in the industry for a minute. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he was pretty old when he came out with a lot of the movies that he came out with when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? So he put a lot of his own, probably his own experiences and the experiences of others that he has met throughout his lifetime into these movies, which is why they are so gravitating to see. You know what I'm saying? Like you gravitate towards his work because it's like, oh, okay, okay. He's kind of showing us some stuff that we haven't really seen yet, type beat. You know, and that is something that a lot of us need to start doing within animation and in American media in general. Like just put real shit in there. You know what I mean? Don't just put this shit in there to like virtue signal or to appeal to a certain audience because you want validation from that specific audience and or money from that audience. Like put your actual authentic like genuine how do I explain it? Put in your genuine I guess the word would be like authenticity. Put authenticity into it. You know what I'm saying? Be more authentic with that shit. And I mean, don't manufacture authenticity. Really, really dig deep. You know what I'm saying? As you put the work out there. You know, shouldn't be that
To
hard.
this generalization, but I think the old man still got a point. He might be grumpy and old-fashioned, but his films, no matter how old or recent, continue to stand out as the unique reflections of life that they are.
That fucking part. Very, very good video essay. And write better stories, y'all. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Of course, leave your opinions down below on what you think that we can do to improve entertainment in general. You know what I mean? Hopefully, the points that I made in this video made sense. Hopefully, I wasn't being too hyper political or too SJW and or anti SJW, because I'm really not trying to really lean on any of those demographics, to be honest with you. I'm trying to just really get my real thoughts out there. So hopefully that those thoughts gravitated towards you some way in shape or form, you know what I mean? But other than that, like, comment, and subscribe. Go ahead and share this video with your friends. Go ahead and watch the original video down below too. Everything is going to be linked down below, along with my main channel and my art channel, along with my social media handles down below. And of course, you guys have a wonderful afternoon, day, or evening, and shalom.